The final step of compliance, certifying what you stand behind. As we move into the final stages of Chapter 6, we now arrive at one of the most important responsibilities of a designated broker: audit certification and attestation. This is where everything comes together. All policies, supervision, record-keeping, and compliance systems are ultimately tested through the Broker Audit Declaration, BAD. The BAD is not just a form, it is a legal certification. When a broker submits this document, they are affirming that their brokerage is operating in compliance with Arizona law and ADRI rules. This section builds on everything we have covered in this course. From transaction management to compensation, from supervision to advertising, all of it is reflected in the accuracy of the BAD. Under ARS, paragraph 32, 2153, false, misleading, or incomplete statements to ADRA can result in serious disciplinary action. Completing the BAD form correctly, more than a checklist. The Broker Audit Declaration, BAD, requires the broker to evaluate and confirm compliance across multiple areas, including transaction record keeping, broker supervision practices, advertising compliance, trust account management, compensation handling. Each section of the BAD is designed to assess whether the brokerage has written policies and procedures, active supervision systems, accurate and complete records, compliance with Arizona statutes and rules. For example, when completing the BAD, a broker in Chandler must confirm that all transaction files are reviewed within 10 business days, records are retained in compliance with ARS, paragraph 32, 2151.01, advertising complies with AAC, R4 28502, compensation follows ARS, paragraph 32, 2155. A common mistake is treating the BAD as a routine administrative task. In reality, each answer represents a legal statement that may be reviewed during an audit. A key takeaway: if you check yes, you must be able to prove it. Broker certification and legal implications. Signing with accountability. When the broker signs and submits the BAD, they are making a formal certification to ADRA. This certification carries legal weight. The broker is affirming that the information provided is true and accurate. The brokerage is in compliance with applicable laws. Supervision is actively being exercised. Records and systems meet regulatory requirements. For example, a broker in Scottsdale certifies that all transaction files are reviewed within the required time frame. If an audit later reveals that files were not reviewed, the certification becomes a false statement. This is where liability increases significantly. The issue is no longer just non-compliance, it is misrepresentation to a regulatory authority. Under ARS, paragraph 32, 2153, this can lead to fines, license suspension, license revocation, additional disciplinary measures. The act of certification transforms operational compliance into legal accountability. Submitting through ADRI Message Center. The official process. The BAD is submitted electronically through the ADRI Message Center. This system is the official communication channel between the brokerage and the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Key submission steps include completing all sections of the BAD, accurately reviewing responses for consistency and accuracy, submitting through the ADRI Message Center portal, retaining a copy of the submission for brokerage records. For example, a brokerage in Gilbert completes the BAD and uploads it through the Message Center. The broker retains a copy of the submission along with supporting documentation in case of future audit. The use of the Message Center ensures official record of submission, timestamp documentation, direct communication with ADRA. Failure to properly submit or retain records of submission can create additional compliance issues. Consequences of false statements, the highest level of risk. One of the most serious risks in the audit process is submitting false or misleading information. False statements may include certifying compliance that does not exist, omitting known deficiencies, providing inaccurate or incomplete information, failing to disclose issues identified during internal review. For example, a broker in Phoenix knows that transaction files are not being reviewed within 10 days, but still certifies compliance on the BAD. During an audit, ADRI identifies the discrepancy. This situation escalates quickly from a compliance issue to a disciplinary matter involving misrepresentation. Under ARS, paragraph 32, 2153, consequences may include significant fines, mandatory education or corrective action, suspension or revocation of the broker's license. A critical principle: honesty does not eliminate the violation, but dishonesty makes it significantly worse. If deficiencies exist, the correct approach is to address them, not conceal them. Bringing it all together. Audit certification is the final checkpoint of brokerage compliance. It is where systems, policies, and supervision are evaluated and formally declared to the state. This section reinforces the most important principles of the entire course. The BAD is a legal certification, not a formality. Every answer must be supported by actual practice. The broker is personally accountable for the submission. False statements carry serious consequences. A compliant brokerage does not prepare for audits. It operates in a way that is always audit ready. As we move into the final section, we will bring the entire course together with final audit readiness and best practices for long-term compliance. Online discussion. Why is the BAD considered a legal certification? Answer: because the broker is formally attesting to compliance with Arizona law, and false statements can result in disciplinary action. What should a broker do before submitting the BAD? Answer: review all systems, policies, and records to ensure that every response is accurate and supported by actual practice. What is the risk of submitting false information on the BAD? Answer: it can lead to fines, license suspension, or revocation under Arizona law.